Mark Fissack, we'll start with Toshinoki Booth. What's the latest with him?
He didn't train today, so we'll know more about him hopefully by the end of the day. But we kept him off his feet today, so I don't have a definitive answer for you, unfortunately, on short, long term. But we'll know more by the end of the day. But he didn't train today.
Injury-wise, everything still the same as we had last week?
Yeah, exactly the same. Obviously, lads are coming across. Lewis, Jay Ben, Teddy all outside at the minute, but everybody's on track, no setbacks in that regard, so positive. Nobody coming back, if that makes sense, but all in a good place.
And with Teddy, I know you were hoping to get him back for this weekend. Is that still going to be a little longer, do you think?
I've never told you that. I don't know who told you that, but it wasn't me.
Is he this weekend, or is it going to be a bit longer?
No, he's ahead of schedule. Actually, I don't like saying that, but he is. That's the truth. I'm not going to lie to you. Definitely never said I was having him back this week, Rob. But he's ahead of schedule. But yeah, he's a little bit away.
Recently lost clean sheets, obviously, in the last few games. Is that something you've consciously tried to do, or is it a byproduct of the change in formation?
No, something I was really conscious of. When I came to the club, I was worried about how we would score goals. I thought I'd make us hard to beat anyway, so I was confident in terms of the defensive side of things. And the irony of it was we were scoring a lot of goals and scoring. I don't mean we scored 6 in one game, but we scored in a lot of games this year, high percentage of games. But we were also conceding a lot of goals, and we're not Brazil or Real Madrid, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. We're very good. We've got a great group of players, but I don't think we're a team that's going to beat somebody 4-3. And at the end of the day, to win games of football, you've got to be hard to beat, tight at the back. So that number one was the biggest thing I was conscious of, and trying to get more clean sheets and being tough to beat. From that, then it was a conversation around shape and personnel and stuff like that. But it was 100% conscious of conceding goals.
And the fact you've been able to get on this run of clean sheets not too long after that Bristol Rovers game, does that show that actually there was just a few tweaks needed more than anything else?
I would hope so, because I think in all the games we've played in, and I'm trying to think it was Cambridge. We lost 2-0 away to Cambridge. And I went home and I was chatting to my wife, who we never talk about football, and she was like, "Oh, how's today?" and stuff like that. And I was saying, like, well, apart from the 2 goals, like Carlton had 1 save to make, and she was like, well, he didn't save the 2 shots for the goal. And I was trying to make a point of actually, he's not busy in games, and that's a credit to the group and a credit to the team. So I don't find many games where even against Ipswich, they 23 shots, but I don't remember Carl making that many saves actually. So I'd like to think we're good in that area, but certainly the little tweaks and the add-ons and maybe the conscious effort to do more on that has certainly helped. Apologies, what I'm trying to say is, I think for most part of the season, I think we've been very good in that area, but we have conceded goals. And I think we've continued our work on that, but we've definitely tightened up in that area.
And what can it do confidence-wise for that back 5, back 6, if you include Carl as well? The fact that they're going to be, they're on a run of clean sheets. Does it work the same way as when strikers are on a run of scoring game after game?
Yeah, I hope so, because one thing I've talked a lot to the group about is, as defenders, you have to really enjoy defending. You have to relish 1v1 duels. You have to relish blocks, throwing your body on the line, winning headers. You have to love all those things if you're a defender, and I think our guys do, but we placed a big emphasis on that. And one of my concerns was that with us it's all about possession and popping it around at the back and multiple passes and passing sequences, and we were talked about the understanding and the desire to actually, you're a defender first and foremost if you think about, you're a footballer, but you're a defender first and foremost, and the other bit will come beyond that. I mean, if you're great at football and you can't defend, you're not going to play. So it was the emphasis on being a defender and your defined role in the team.
We've got a run now of league fixtures Tuesday for the next couple of weeks. Are the players at a stage now where 3 games in a week is easier to get them through, or is it still thinking about, I'm going to have to manage the team through 3 games and my personnel?
I think we'll always have to manage, because we don't have a massive squad for a multitude of reasons. That's not a negative or a cryptic criticism. That's also will be the same next year and the year after, and I'm quite comfortable with that, because I'd rather have a small squad of good players than a diluted squad of bigger pool players. So I think we'll always have to do that here. I think what's happened so far, through, again, no fault of our own, we've had players that had longer term injuries. We haven't been able to do that. So people like Pawdy, TJ, Regan, I think of those three in particular, they've been really maxed out. I mean, I would have loved to have changed that in other games. We've not been able to. We've been fortunate in other positions we can do it, but defensively we've not been able to. But it's something we're always conscious of.
Huge game this weekend, big crowd expected as well, near for a sellout. Is it about managing the occasion as much as managing the game on Saturday?
I think we have to focus on the game first and foremost and influence what we can influence. The outside influences were really big and positive against in Derby. There was no doubt about that. It goes a long way. We see it every week wherever we go. We've seen it at Ipswich, whether they're in small numbers or big numbers. I think the group, as young as we are, have managed that really, really well this year. And it's a learning curve for me as well, because working with such a young group, when the season started to begin with, although I was confident in how we would do things, I found it a very surreal experience for me as a new manager, of going into a game and actually not knowing what you're conscious of what you think's going to happen, but actually you stand in that little box and you feel comfortable in your own role and what you can do, but actually you don't know what's going to happen. And it was like 10-15 minutes into the game you're going, right, we're absolutely fine, we're really comfortable and we're competitive, we're playing well. So I'd like to think now that we've all had a look at each other, we're a few months down the line, we've had not just the league games but the cup games. I'm certainly comfortable where we are, and I hope the lads are with myself and the staff, where there's a big expectation from each other, and there's a huge confidence in each other that together we can do something proactively positive together.